Welcome back, JF Coins, everyone, to another exciting episode where we dive deep into the hidden treasures of American coins. Today we are going to talk about a coin that might look small and ordinary at first glance but carries with it an amazing story of American history and a surprising value in the market. Yes, I am talking about the 1-cent wheat penny from the year 1942, also known as the Ultra Lincoln Wheat Penny. Believe me, after listening to this, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. The wheat penny has always been a favorite among coin collectors and historians. The 1942 version in particular stands out not only for its beautiful design but also for the fascinating period in which it was minted. Imagine America in the year 1942. The country was deeply involved in World War II. Resources were scarce, the economy was focused on the war effort, and every piece of metal had a purpose. Yet, despite this, the United States Mint continued to produce these iconic Lincoln wheat pennies made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The obverse side of the coin proudly features the bust of President Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to celebrate his 100th birthday. Around the top are the words "In God We Trust," to the left the word "Liberty," and to the right the year of mintage, in this case 1942. The reverse side of the coin is equally iconic. Two wheat stalks curve gracefully along the edges, framing the words 1 cent, United States of America, and above them the national motto E pluribus unum. These wheat stalks gave the coin its popular name, the wheat penny. Now, let us move into the exciting part that keeps collectors and treasure hunters searching, the value. At first glance, you may think a penny from 1942 is just worth 1 cent, but the truth is, this coin can be worth much more depending on its condition and rarity. In circulated condition, a 1942 wheat penny is often valued around $42 in the collector's market. That is right, a single cent that once bought candy or gum could now fetch $42 today. Imagine having a jar full of these pennies just lying around in your attic. You could be sitting on a hidden fortune without even knowing it. The value goes even higher for coins in better condition. Collectors use a grading scale to judge the condition of a coin, ranging from good to fine, extremely fine, and up to mint state. A 1942 wheat penny in mint condition with no scratches, no heavy wear, and a clear strike can be worth much more than the average price. In fact, high-grade uncirculated 1942 pennies have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction. Some even cross into the thousands when they have unique characteristics such as double die errors, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks. Let's not forget the different mint locations where these pennies were struck. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority, and those coins carry no mint mark. The Denver Mint produced coins with a small d under the ear, and the San Francisco Mint produced coins with an S mark. While all of them are collectible, certain mintages and variations are scarcer than others, which makes them more desirable in the eyes of collectors. Always check carefully under the date for that little letter because it could make a big difference in value. Another reason why the 1942 wheat penny is so special is its connection to wartime history. Just 1 year later in 1943, the mint would stop using copper for pennies altogether and switch to zinc-coated steel to save copper for ammunition and other military needs. That means the 1942 wheat penny is one of the last classic copper issues before this big change. When you hold one of these coins, you are not just holding money, you are holding a piece of America's World War II story. So how can you tell if your 1942 wheat penny is worth more than just a cent? First, check its condition. If the details of Lincoln's hair and beard are still sharp and clear, you might have a high-grade coin. Next, examine the mint mark carefully. A repunched mint mark, or doubling error, can significantly increase value. And finally, look for coins that have been well preserved, with original luster still shining after more than 80 years. Those are the coins collectors dream about. Now, here is the exciting part. Imagine you come across a 1942 wheat penny in your pocket change or maybe inside an old family coin jar. At first it looks small and brown, but upon closer inspection, you realize it could be worth $42 or even more. That is the thrill of coin collecting. It is like a treasure hunt where the treasures are hidden in plain sight. The wheat penny series has always been beloved by collectors because it combines historical significance, beautiful design, and affordable entry-level value. Even beginners can start a collection with pennies like the 1942 wheat cent, while advanced collectors search for the rarest varieties and highest grades. This makes the coin market for wheat pennies both lively and competitive. To sum it all up, the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny is not just a coin. It is a story of America in wartime, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, a collectible piece of art, and a potential hidden treasure in your pocket. With a market value that can reach $42 and sometimes even much more depending on condition and rarity, it is a coin worth paying attention to. So the next time you come across an old penny, do not dismiss it. Take a closer look. You might just be holding history and money in the palm of your hand. Thank you for watching and joining me on this journey through coin history. If you enjoyed learning about the 1942 wheat penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more coin collecting stories, and share this with anyone who loves history, treasure hunting, or just the thrill of finding value in unexpected places. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, the next coin you discover might change your life. Would you like me to also write you a shorter, punchy version of this script for quick videos or YouTube shorts so you can hook viewers fast before they move on? Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating treasures of United States history, the 1945 wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent. This tiny piece of copper may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but in reality it holds an extraordinary story of American history, wartime resilience, and collector value that continues to surprise both new and seasoned numismatists around the world. Stay tuned until the end because the current market value of this Ultra Lincoln penny might shock you, and yes, some of these can reach up to $42 or even more depending on rarity and condition. Now let us go back in time to the year 1945. The world was coming to the end of the Second World War. The United States Mint was still producing coins to keep the economy running smoothly, and among those coins was the famous Lincoln wheat penny. The 1945 penny was minted in 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark tells a part of the story. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark at all and were produced in the highest numbers. Denver mint coins showed the small letter D just beneath the date, while San Francisco coins are marked with a tiny S. Every single one of these wheat pennies served an essential role in daily commerce during the challenging times of the war. The 1945 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running wheat penny series, which began in 1909 when the United States Mint decided to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse or front side shows the iconic portrait of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse proudly carries 2 wheat stalks which symbolize prosperity, growth, and hard work. For decades these pennies circulated in the pockets and hands of hardworking Americans, and now they are treasured relics of history. The 1945 wheat penny was struck from an alloy that included 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This makes them heavy and durable compared to modern pennies, which are mostly made of zinc. Because of wartime demands, copper was an important resource, so it is truly fascinating that the United States Mint continued to produce copper wheat pennies right through 1945. This adds another layer of significance to these coins because they connect directly to America's victory and rebuilding after the war. Now here is where it becomes very exciting for collectors. Even though billions of these pennies were minted, not all of them survived in great condition. Most coins from everyday circulation are heavily worn, but the rare gems, the ones that manage to remain in mint state or uncirculated grades, can be extremely valuable. Collectors seek out coins that still show sharp details, clean surfaces, and original luster. A coin graded in mint state by professional grading services can easily command much higher prices than a well-worn example pulled from circulation. On the open market, a common circulated 1945 wheat penny may trade for just a few cents more than its face value, but when you move into high-grade conditions the price skyrockets. A bright red mint state example can bring collectors to bidding wars. Even in lower mint state grades, prices can range anywhere from a few dollars up to the $42 level or higher depending on eye appeal, strike, and rarity of the particular mint mark. Some extremely high-grade examples have even broken records at auction. Let us not forget that errors and varieties also play a huge role in the desirability of the 1945 Lincoln penny. Collectors are always on the hunt for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, or planchet errors. These mistakes made during the minting process create unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that can multiply the value many times over. A lucky find of such an error coin could turn an ordinary penny into a small fortune. Now picture this: imagine finding one of these wheat pennies tucked away in an old jar in the attic inside a box of family heirlooms, or resting quietly in a piggy bank that has not been touched in decades. That small coin could be worth so much more than 1 cent. It carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the pride of American resilience, and the memory of a nation that stood strong in one of history's most difficult times. It is not just a coin, it is a time capsule. The beauty of collecting wheat pennies, especially the 1945 issue, is that they are both accessible and historically significant. Beginners can start a collection with circulated examples for very little cost, while advanced collectors can chase the challenge of acquiring the finest mint state specimens. This balance of affordability and potential value makes the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny one of the most popular coins in the entire series. As we bring this story together, let us remember that the 1945 wheat penny is more than metal. It is a story of victory, a symbol of endurance, and a treasure of history. With a current market value that can reach $42 and sometimes more, these coins remain a shining example of how even the smallest piece of change can carry massive significance. Whether you are holding one in your hand or searching for one to add to your collection, always remember that these pennies connect us directly to the struggles and triumphs of the past. So, the next time you come across a 1945 wheat penny, take a moment to study it closely. Look for its mint mark, check its condition, and imagine the journey it has taken over the last 80 years. That coin has traveled through history, survived war and peace, and now sits as a collectible gem ready to tell its story. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the world of the 1945 Ultra Lincoln wheat penny. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another story of rare and valuable coins. Share this with your friends who love history and treasures, because you never know, someone out there might be sitting on a fortune hidden in their pocket change. Do you want me to expand this script even more with an additional detailed breakdown of each mint mark and their separate values, so your video can run longer and keep viewers eager? Today we are diving deep into the incredible history and value of the famous 1951 wheat penny, also known as the Ultra Lincoln 1-cent coin. This small copper coin may look ordinary at first glance, but its story and its value in today's collector market make it a true hidden gem worth knowing about. Now let us begin with a little history. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic coin featured Lincoln's portrait on the front side, the obverse, and 2 wheat stalks curving around the words 1 cent on the back side, the reverse. This simple yet powerful design became a beloved piece of American history and was minted from 1909 all the way to 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. By 1951, the United States Mint was producing wheat pennies in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These mints struck millions of coins, but here is the key: not all 1951 pennies are the same, and their values can vary dramatically depending on condition, rarity, and even tiny details like mint marks. The Philadelphia mint coins bear no mint mark, while the Denver coins show a small letter D under the date, and the San Francisco coins display an S mark. Collectors pay very close attention to these differences because some are far scarcer than others. The 1951 wheat penny is made primarily of copper with a small percentage of tin and zinc, which gives it that rich reddish tone that can darken to a brown patina over time. Collectors often judge the value of these coins by their color, whether they remain bright red, red-brown, or fully brown, as well as by their grade, which means the overall condition. If you happen to find a 1951 wheat penny in pristine mint state condition with no wear and sharp details, you could be holding on to a coin worth far more than face value. Now let's talk about what makes the 1951 wheat penny so special, and why collectors are willing to pay good money for them. Even though these pennies were produced in large numbers, most of them circulated heavily for decades. They passed from hand to hand, buying groceries, paying for gas, and sitting in piggy banks, which means finding one today in perfect condition is extremely rare. Collectors crave those untouched examples because they are a snapshot of history frozen in time. The market value today for a standard circulated 1951 wheat penny usually starts at a few cents above face value, but when we look at higher grades, the story changes dramatically. A lightly circulated coin may be worth $1 or $2, while a well-preserved mint state red example can easily command values around $42 or even higher depending on demand and rarity. Imagine turning an old penny you found in your drawer into something worth more than $40. That is the magic of coin collecting, but here's where it gets even more exciting. Errors and varieties from 1951 can push the value of these pennies sky high. There are double die-obverse errors where the date or letters appear doubled due to a striking mistake at the mint. There are repunched mint marks where the letter D or S was punched more than once, creating a shadow effect. Collectors pay hundreds of dollars for these special varieties, so it is always worth taking a magnifying glass to your coins because you never know what treasure you might discover. Let us not forget the historical context of 1951. America was moving through the post-war boom. The country was thriving, industries were growing, and coins like the Lincoln wheat penny were the silent witnesses of every transaction. They jingled in the pockets of workers, factory owners, students, and families. They bought candy for children, newspapers for adults, and played their part in building the great story of American life. Every single penny from 1951 carries with it a little piece of that history, and holding one is like holding a time capsule from the early 50s. Collectors today are passionate about wheat pennies because they mark the end of an era. By 1958, the wheat design was retired and the memorial reverse took over, so each coin from the wheat series carries extra sentimental value for hobbyists. Building a complete collection of wheat pennies is one of the most popular goals in coin collecting, and the 1951 issues are an important part of that journey. So the next time you come across an old penny, do not overlook it, especially if it happens to be a 1951 wheat penny. It could be worth a surprising amount of money, and more importantly, it is a tangible connection to history. Whether your coin is worth just a few cents or more than $40 or perhaps even hundreds, if it has an era variety, it deserves to be treasured and appreciated. Before we wrap up, let me give you one tip. If you want to check the true value of your coin, always consider getting it graded by a professional service. A certified coin in a sealed holder can attract much higher prices on the collector market, plus you will have the assurance of knowing exactly what you have in terms of grade and authenticity. In conclusion, the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny may be small in size, but it carries an enormous legacy from its origins as a tribute to Abraham Lincoln to its role in everyday life in mid-century America. This little copper coin continues to capture the hearts of collectors, and with a potential market value of up to $42 or even more for rare examples, it is living proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest treasures. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1951 wheat penny. If you JavaScript, Void 0, enjoyed learning about this coin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this video with friends who might also have a hidden treasure sitting in their coin jars. And remember, always check your change because the next big discovery could be waiting for you right in your hands. Would you like me to also expand this script into multiple segments like an intro hook, storytelling middle, and a closing CTA so it's easier to film in parts for YouTube? Today we are diving deep into the world of United States coins and uncovering the story, the value, and the hidden history of one of the most beloved coins in American numismatics, the 1952 wheat Lincoln penny. Now, this 1-cent coin may look small and ordinary to many, but collectors around the world know that certain years, certain conditions, and certain mint marks can make these little copper treasures worth a surprising amount of money. So if you have a penny jar, an old collection, or even a handful of change lying around, stick with me until the very end because you might just have a coin worth much more than its face value. Let's start with the history of this coin. The Lincoln wheat penny series began in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features the famous bust of President Lincoln, a design that has now become one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. On the reverse, you'll see 2 wheat stalks, one on the left and one on the right, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, along with the Latin motto E pluribus unum. This classic wheat design ran from 1909 all the way until 1958, making it one of the most collected series in American coinage. Now specifically, the 1952 wheat penny comes from a period when America was recovering from World War II and stepping into a new era of prosperity. These coins were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. Combined, hundreds of millions were struck, but despite the large numbers, condition and rarity play a huge role in how much one of these coins is worth today. Let's break down the values. A well-circulated 1952 penny might only bring a few cents to collectors, but when you find one in brilliant uncirculated condition with sharp details and original red copper luster, that's when the price can shoot up. A coin in mint state can easily fetch $10, $20, and in some cases much more. Some graded examples with perfect red color have sold for hundreds at auctions. But on average in today's coin market, a 1952 wheat Lincoln penny in high-quality uncirculated condition can have a market value of around $42, making it an exciting find for anyone who discovers one tucked away in a collection. The secret is all in the details. Collectors look closely at luster, strike quality, and any unique errors. Errors and varieties are where things get really interesting. Some 1952 pennies were struck with die cracks, off-center strikes, or even doubled dies. These error coins are scarce and highly collectible, and depending on the severity of the error, the value could skyrocket far above the standard prices. So if you ever come across a 1952 penny, be sure to look carefully with a magnifying glass. That small detail could make the difference between a common coin and a numismatic treasure. Now, why do people still get so excited about wheat pennies like the 1952? It's not just about the money. These coins are little time capsules from America's past. Imagine all the hands that may have held that penny in the 1950s, a period filled with post-war optimism, booming industry, and cultural change. Holding a 1952 Lincoln penny is like holding a piece of history, a reminder of Lincoln's enduring legacy and the values of a nation. Collectors also love the chase, the thrill of finding that one perfect coin among thousands. Every penny has a story, and for many, starting with wheat pennies is the first step into the larger world of numismatics. Some collectors begin with a simple coin folder, filling each date and mint mark from 1909 to 1958. The 1952 issue is a key part of completing that set, and that is why it holds special importance. Let's also talk about the metal itself. These coins are made primarily of copper, which gives them that beautiful reddish tone when freshly minted. Over time, exposure to the air turns them brown, and collectors classify them into 3 categories: red, red-brown, and brown. The red examples are always more desirable and therefore command higher prices. A fully red, uncirculated 1952 Lincoln wheat penny certified by a professional grading company can easily reach the $42 value and sometimes more depending on the grade. So what does this mean for you? It means check your coin jars, your old change, and especially any inherited coin collections. If you find a 1952 Lincoln wheat penny, don't just spend it. Take a close look. Check for the mint mark under the date. Look at the condition. If it shines with luster and looks nearly flawless, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. To recap, the 1952 wheat Lincoln penny is not only a piece of American history but also a collectible coin with real value. In circulated condition, it might be worth a few cents to $1, but in uncirculated condition with full red luster, it can reach that impressive $42 market value and sometimes much more, especially with rare varieties and error coins. So the next time you see a wheat penny, remember that it's more than just a coin. It's a story, a legacy, and possibly a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny, make sure to subscribe for more coin history, hidden treasures, and coin value guides. And as always, share your finds in the comments below. Who knows, maybe one of you out there has a 1952 Ultra Lincoln penny worth far more than you ever imagined. Thank you for watching, and keep searching because your next penny could be worth a fortune. Would you like me to also expand this into a version that lasts around 15 to 20 minutes of spoken content for YouTube, with more storytelling and examples of auction sales, or keep it at this length?